So let's try it again. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
There we go. Now the other thing I could do is say, stand back up and stretch. So let's do that. Let's all just get the kinks out, stretch. I mean, really stretch and. All right. So good to be with you this morning, and I feel so safe. I don't know who's out there speeding, but I think they're good. You know, we're in the South, so y'all are here. You know, they say every once in a while someone steps into your life and they make your heart race and they make you groan. And then you realize it's the blue lights in the back that are coming after you. Somebody sent me a card also one time, and it said they were stopped by a policeman, and he said, "You're staggering." And she said to him, "You're kind of handsome yourself." And then it said, he laughed and I laughed. Anyway, I'm going to need bail money. You see, it's good that we can laugh, because what you all do as first responders, so amazing. I remember when I first came to America and I was going to school, it was New York, and I don't know what happened to me. One day, I guess I was still getting used to the sights and the sounds and the culture, and I was coming from school and I forgot where I lived. It's just one of those things. And somebody called the police, and New York's finest picked me up, drove me around, kept driving and driving until I recognized my building. Because that's how it is in New York. You have a building. That it's not a home, it's a building. And I said, "That's my building." And they walked me up the stairs, and I've never forgotten it. You know, it was not too long ago. I was 5 years old, 6 years old. So I've been forever grateful. And you know, it's one of those things that you could just pick up the phone. When you think about it, if you're in trouble, you could just pick up the phone and dial 911. And somebody's at the other end, and you know they're coming. You know the ambulance is going to come get you. And they're going to be professional when they get there. They're going to ask you the questions. They're going to put the mask over you for oxygen. Or they're going to come because something else has happened. Now you need the sheriff. Now you need the police. And it's right there at your fingertip. And so that was why, when I heard one of the dumbest things I'd ever heard, that we're gonna get rid of qualified immunity and that we were going to defund the police, I thought to myself, what kind of nonsense is that? Makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, because who are you gonna call? I swear if you say Ghostbusters. You know, who are you going to call when you need help? Who's going to come and get you when you need help? You heard that I was in the legislature 20 years ago. And do you know who else has qualified immunity? We do. Because sometimes we make laws that also make no sense. Yes, we're very capable of doing that. And we make it this year, and unintended consequences you couldn't have possibly foreseen how this whole thing would play out. And we've got to come back next year and get rid of it. Yes, so we have qualified immunity as well. So I said to myself, I bet you what we'll do. If we get rid of qualified immunity for law enforcement, firefighters, etc., And let's get rid of law enforcement for lawmakers, qualified immunity for lawmakers too, and see how we like that. No, it was never going to happen. So we thank you so much for what you do, and we thank the Chamber for putting this on for us, to recognize you. The business community is coming together and saying, thank you. Because one of the things that we see on television is that we're grateful we're actually not New York South. Because you see what's happening. The criminals, you lock them up. As a matter of fact, you don't even get to lock them up. They're out. They're out. And they go on to commit even more crimes, sometimes even worse. It's craziness. And then you see them smashing business windows in and just grabbing and taking, and you're wondering, what's going on? The world has turned upside down. And you say to yourself, is this the country I'm fighting for? Is it worth it? And I'm going to tell you, it's worth it. America is worth it. She is worth fighting for. She's been through a lot, but she's still here. And we've got to preserve her for our children and their children and their children's children and so on. Now, we have a saying in church, and it's this: I may not be what I'm supposed to be, but I ain't what I used to be. And that's America, right? She's not 1963 when my father first came, at the height of the civil rights movement. I asked my father, why would you come then? You actually begged to get into America. Got all your paperwork together, got the background checks, the documents. And then even after they said yes, you had to wait until you gained an entry date. And he said, because this is where the jobs and the opportunities were. So he came with $1.75. Think about that. And actually, I'm spotting him a quarter because he couldn't remember if it was $1.50 or $1.75. And then he took any job he could find and put himself through school. And so education lifted him out of poverty, and education will lift us all out of poverty. And so that's why education became so important to me. Because, well, let me tell you about the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He said this, that poverty is the mother of crime. 1,600 years later, along comes a French moralist, Jean de la Bruyere, and he said, if poverty is the mother of crime, then lack of intelligence is its father. Well, I say to you today that if poverty is the mother of crime and lack of intelligence is its father, then a child being denied a good education is darkness. And parents, educators, business, all of you community leaders, we need to fight that darkness and make the darkness tremble, because our children need a good education so that they can have a hope and a future and the opportunities and the doors open for them that Martin Luther King Jr. said 50 years ago, 6 months before his assassination, when he was talking to Barat High School in Philly. And he said to them, doors are going to open for you that were never open for your parents. Be ready to walk through those doors when they open. Burn the midnight oil, stay in school, and study. So America is worth fighting for. What you do, first responders, is not in vain. We see it, and we're glad you're there, because when you are running towards the violence, towards the fire, we're running the other way, because that's not our job. We didn't sign up for that. You did. I don't know what it is that you have in you that you said, I want to be the one to be the rescuer. I want to be the one to be the savior. There's something special about you. No, you're not crazy. We're so thankful that you've chosen to do that. And since we're here to honor you, I would like to hear from you especially. So, let's see, we should have someone from fire come up. Who would like to do that? All right, you know what they say Navy means. Do we have any Navy people here? Never again volunteer yourself? You haven't heard that one. All right, so come on. Give me someone who's... Mike Jones. Mike Jones. There we go. We got a name. Mike Jones. Yay, Mike Jones. And one from law enforcement. Can I have a sheriff? Who? All right. Come on up. There we go. And as you're coming, I'd like you to tell us how you begin your morning. Because you put a vest on, a bulletproof vest. Think about that. Think about getting dressed in the morning and you have to put on a bulletproof vest. Yes, sir.
So I'm glad I had a lot of time to prepare. Truthfully, first off, I want to thank the Chamber. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to recognize the men and women in public safety who do an amazing job in protecting our community, and thank all of you for your support. And real quick, our local government, Stafford County government, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you for the support and encouragement. Now for me, it's my men and women that do the amazing job. They're the ones that do the heavy lifting, and we're called to do this. Sometimes people find their calling, other times you're called at an early age. But we do it because we love our community, and one of the greatest commandments is, love Christ with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love your neighbors as you love yourself. So it begins with love and caring and having compassion for those, because there's a lot of people hurting out there, and it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we're taking care of them. So it's about being a servant leader, it's about caring for people, and it's about loving people, and that's what it's all about for me and my people. And I'm so grateful to be on their team. God bless you.
Now, how am I going to follow that? Really? Thanks, Sheriff. I appreciate that. But I do appreciate every first responder out there, and I appreciate the business community for what they do for us and help us. I think the thing that most of us, whether we're law enforcement or fire and rescue or EMTs or whatever, whether you do it for free or you do it for a paycheck, you really don't do it for a paycheck. It's something that you find deep inside yourself, and I know law enforcement is this way, and I know it's that way because I've been involved in the fire game for 45 years. It's a passion you have. It's a passion to help people. It's a passion to help your community. It's a passion to give back, and it's something that when you wake up in the morning, you look forward to going to work. What's the old saying? If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's really true when you're involved as a first responder, because you love your neighbor, you love your community, you love what you do. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate our government officials for what they do to support us, both career and volunteer. And I appreciate what the Chamber does to put this on. Thank you very much.
And I also want to thank their families. Weren't they awesome? Give them another round of applause. I want to thank their families because their families don't know if they're coming home. Think about that. When they walk through the door in the morning or the night shift, families don't know if daddy's coming home, if mommy's coming home. You don't know any of that. And then when they see blue lights flashing, going by, red lights, they wonder if mom is going, if dad is going, if auntie or uncle is going. These are the things that the rest of us, we go to the office and we wonder if so-and-so is mad with us today. Yeah, in the great scope of things, you begin to realize, maybe not so much, it doesn't matter. Not when you know every day could be your last day. You run to the fire. You don't know what you're going to find because every fire is different. You run to the scene. Sometimes you don't know who's the perpetrator and who's the victim. And you've got to make split-second decisions. Now we know in every profession there are bad apples. Bad lawyers, bad doctors, bad teachers, bad plumbers, bad politicians. But what we do is we get rid of them and we run with those who truly mean to serve. So once again, we thank you so very much for what you do. We couldn't do it without you because if you don't have an orderly society, a peaceful society, a society of justice, you don't have a society. You have chaos. So we thank you for being willing to do what you do because it can't be for the benefits. There are other ways to gain benefits. So thank you so very much. And where is Sienna? Sierra. There you are. I just want to say to you, I used to be you. And for this to be your very first event, yes, you did an awesome thing. Because, yes, her first event. I remember those days like they were yesterday, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth. Because I want to also give a little bit of honor to the chamber. Again, because from you we get our community leaders, from you we get our community volunteers, from you we get those who are also willing to serve, from you we get our employers, because you're the backbone, you're the small businesses. And every business started as a small business. From you we get our tax money. I don't know if you noticed, but the Commissioner of the Revenue got the biggest round of applause. He's the money guy. Yes. So once again, thank you, and want to give you hearty greetings from our governor, Glenn Youngkin. He brings you his thanks for your service as well. Thank you all, and God bless you.